I have started the recording, so officially welcome out to the Market Watch Group Midweek Check-In. I'm Scott. Here's the disclaimers. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. No advice, no recommendations. This is for education, illustrative purposes only. Today's agenda. Opening analysis. Futures are down a little. We got some good CPI numbers, though. The market hasn't responded. Not that I was expecting that it would have like an immediate response by any stretch. But we'll look at the opening futures. We'll see what we have going on. We'll see what the exact CPI numbers were. Because if it met expectations, that right, even though it's the lowest, if it's the lowest, but that's what they had already planned for, and then that's what we got. Well, hence the market like, oh, good, we got what we expected. Mindset for open trades, I would say pushing right now. Markets had some momentum if on trades that were open and getting ready for new trades. We'll review the opportunity list. Several. We saw things in industrials. We saw things setting up in consumer staples. We saw things setting up even in technology. So I actually feel like there's pretty broad-based setups going on. And we'll talk about this week's trading plan section. Looking back, I feel like I forgot to talk about it on Sunday. We should be working on section 5. Section 5 this week, which is about routines. And so if you haven't, you want to start to script it. Your day. Do you have windows? I have windows. I have a window pre-market. 15 minutes. What do I do? Futures, news, position, right? What do I do to kind of line up and be like, all right, I'm ready for the day? I have two, what I call, I label my windows the way they label when earnings reports get announced. BMO, before market open. DMH, during market hours. AMC, after market close. So my BMO routine, 15 minutes, I have exactly what it is I do during that routine. Then I have two DMH routines. One mid-morning, one last hour. Everything else is automated in between. So it's not like I'm like leaving and if it looks like it might hit a target or it might hit a stop, the stop or the target order is going to be in place. I don't like automation on the open. That's why I like to go look at it, to be like, oh, I don't want to have an automated order if it's going to trigger on the open. The worst thing I could ever do is have a market order trigger on the open from a stop. The market maker is going to absolutely take you to the cleaners. So, routines after market close. That's probably a 20 to 30 minute, you're going to process what happened today. Overall, what happened today on each of your trades? Has anything changed? Right now, remember, after market, during market, the chimp is rattling the cage. Risk is in full effect. The professor, it's loud. It's loud. The professor's having a hard time concentrating in market hours. But after market, the chimp gets tired and takes a nap, and the professor has some quiet time to process what happened and prepare for tomorrow in order to push that. The trade is at 235. We'll take a look at it and see. We'll take a look and see what we think. All right, let's get into it. So, let's take a see here. UNP. It may not be, actually. It may not be. I keep seeing people popping in and out. Are there audio issues today? or video issues today. Like, I just want to make sure that there's anything going on that I'm not aware of, because it's like coming in and out. I'm like, I know that that's sometimes a trick you use if you can't get your screen to share or the audio on. So if there is, let me know. I'm just curious. Okay. So actually, Bob, I don't think we're gonna know yet. Miguel says you might be looking at the wrong strike price. As you look at the market open, 252.5 is where we were. Okay. Oh, Sam, you had power blink out? Okay. No worries. I saw Sandy too. Sandy, are you having any issues? You've popped in and out a couple times. Yeah, we'll go in and look at this, but if you look at the bid ask, we can't really tell. The bid's 250, ask is 254. I bet we actually opened maybe around 252 and a quarter, 252.35, so slightly lower. Then as the options come in, I think you could set a price around that. So yeah, we'll go take a look. Let's take a quick peek at the calendar. So what was the number? I didn't even see. Did they post it? Uh, 2.5 compared to 2.9. 2.5. Okay. So we were expecting... Now I'm getting lost in the conversation. October 4th. Oh, I did do October 4th. Look at that. I had it open. I think I meant to come back. You know what? I might actually, let's play with this one live. Let's play with this one live after the market opens and settles down. As I look at that, I mean, you're fine. 23 days is fine. October 4th is fine. Yeah, I usually like 2 weeks more than I need, and that's right at the threshold. If you need 10 days, 24 is giving you 10 or 2 weeks more than you need. But I was actually intending. So funny. The night sessions, they're good, but sometimes I think, I'm not as focused, but I was thinking it would have better and open interest as well. But yeah, I think that the 265 would be a little bit more expensive, but you know what? We'll come play with it. I actually think that the October 4s would end up with a better reward to risk ratio, so we'll actually test that theory here in a second. So does it look better, Bob? Bob says he was looking 18th, but the 4th looks better. Yeah, if you're, a lot of times people are like, oh, what if you run out of time? I don't run out of time. That's impossible for me to run out of time. Trades just don't work that way when you're active with them, right? You're just like 24 days, like you just went up for 24 days and you just need more time still? Then roll it, I guess, at that point. So, yeah, I don't worry about that. That trade's going to be right or wrong within the next 7 or 10 days. There's no way I would be there. Yeah, I mean, look, there's just not. But that was... I'm gonna cop to it. That was somewhat accidental because I think I had them both open and then ended up just like on the 4th rather than the 18th. So good catch, Miguel. But overall, it's not something that fundamentally shifts what we would have done with the trade. So let's give it a chance to settle in here. You can see where we are. The trades, it's the same trade. It's actually probably going to be a little better because we're down a little bit. But fundamentally, I look at this and think, nothing changes in the analysis, right? Same support level. Everything that we saw yesterday that validated the trade is still there now, right? That's the point. But I would let it settle in. Okay. Let's go look at the market itself for a second. Same thing, right? Sometimes I swear I've asked this question. It's anecdotal. There's no study behind this. But I believe there's plenty of evidence from anecdotal observations. Let me know if you agree with this. But sometimes when we look and we see a red candle, our instinct is like, oh, that's bad. Red is bad. Red is sellers. And we're thinking, oh, that's it. It's selling without, right? We're literally a minute, 2 minutes in. And yet I think we have just these in the trading psychology stuff that I've worked on. There's a study conducted in the 1980s, won a Nobel Prize by two scientists named Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. And they won a Nobel Prize for behavioral finance, where they worked off of, the prospect theory, they called it, of, would you choose A or B, and understanding what the mindset is. Anyway, Kahneman continued that work. He most recently wrote a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. And it's talking about, our mind creates heuristics, which are these rules of thumb that allow us to process the millions of bits of data that are coming through our various senses all the time in order to make decisions. There was actually a book, if you're a fan of Malcolm Gladwell, he's a kind of a journalist who writes very interesting books. He wrote one called Blink. He wrote one called The Tipping Point, Outliers. Very just, he puts a great narrative around certain things. But Blink is the same thing, where it's like thin slicing versus like, oh, do we need all the information or can we make decisions quickly? We do that a lot in trading. But sometimes we need to stop and evaluate the programming and say, wait a second. Do we notice the wrong heuristics are in place? Something like you see red and you're just like, bad, red, sellers, and you're not thinking, hey, anything that was a valid signal yesterday, I can possibly get at a better price today if I didn't take it yesterday, right now. That's what can happen. Not, oh, this thing is wrong because, look, there's a little bit of red here. Well, yeah, yesterday there was a little bit of red too. It was a complete engulfing at one point, and then it came back up, right? And so be careful what small little biases sometimes will just pop into your head when you look at the first candle. We're 4 minutes in. We don't even have an opening range yet. These 4 minutes, based off this news, can't fundamentally shake. And so what you're looking to trade, you look to trade. What you're in, you look to hold, if that makes sense. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think I'm right about seeing red and then possibly hesitating when you were thinking about trades? Is that something that you have experienced? Apple, I think Apple is possibly going to trigger. We've been watching it come down. We've watched it hold the 50 back here. It tested the 50. We're like, maybe it's going to hold. Nope. Oh, stochastics is turning. Apple, that's a tech giant. That's 11% of the NASDAQ. That's a leader. That's important for us from a technology perspective. Yeah. So I like seeing Apple. I'm definitely keeping my eye on Apple. Aflac, still strong in the financial sector, right? So big banks and brokers we were a little leery of after yesterday, but other things held up just fine. Things like insurance. Amazon is very close to that first target. If you stayed, it's got real close yesterday. We'll see. AXP trying to hold the 50. That's a credit. So, Sandy's not getting sound or picture today. Sorry to hear it, Sandy. I wish I could troubleshoot. Maybe. We'll see. Bank of America, I don't love it. It's back down. I think there's better things. We'll keep watching it. But Bank New York Mellon still looks strong. The regionals held up. Ooh, BLDR. We are thinking about it. We are thinking about that as an industrial. A little hiccup. Still holding support. Still holding support. Carriers. Carrier triggered. Carrier had an entry back either of these 2 days, actually. So if you're in it, you would just be probably watching this for a pause. Hasn't quite gotten up to where we would look to maybe do a take profit target. So yeah, if you're in it, you're just sitting. So the industrials are a little shook today, you can see, at least here in the morning. So where we said, hey, maybe industrials, yeah, not yet. If it is, it wouldn't be till later in the afternoon, possibly tomorrow. Here's another area that we like. Consumer staples. Very strong. Higher high. Higher low. This is the selling cycle. It's very weird because it does have like this above average volume, but it isn't going anywhere. It's literally dropped from 109 to 106. It's dropped like 2.8% on this pullback. Chipotle tried. A little bit of a pause. We'll see what happens. Costco is one I was looking at. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I would actually say it's open. You could get in, you could have a stop, and you can see if it's going to move. It's trying to bounce off of this. We'll see if it gets what it needs. Carvana, you can see it's under the 50 now. I think I'm gonna bounce Carvana. We never actually ended up getting a good signal on that. So the fact that it has choppy signals sometimes. We got earnings here, then it came down. Maybe you could have argued, but by the time you got confirmation, I don't know. It just didn't trade well. Didn't play well for me. Fastenal. There's those industrials. Pausing a little bit. Bitcoin down near lows. Gold is just sort of fluttering around in this little basing pattern up near a resistance level. I would have preferred if it held the 50. I think I'd still think about it here. Simply because it's a viable trade, even if it just moves back up to 50 one more time. The old resistance up there, right? I mean, if we get a turn, I've got 5 ahead of me and a buck below me, even from maybe not that much, but close to that. Yeah, I think GM is still viable. Google is not for me. Google's at new lows. It's off the table. It's got to break this consolidation line, get near the 50 at least, like it did there, come back, and then hold the higher low, which it didn't do. We thought maybe it would here. It didn't. We thought maybe it would here. It didn't. And now it's down here, and we're like, nah, okay. Goldman, the large financials are off the table. They're now in consolidation mode, which for us means excommunicado. You cannot trade that. I'm not trying to call these bottoms here. Home Depot. I think you could have argued for the signal on Monday. Got a good day yesterday, and today it's pausing in the morning. These are new from the financial sector for us. The exchanges are doing phenomenal right now. They're doing great. Apparently everyone's trading. The ICE is doing well. Starting to consolidate a little bit. So, yeah, looking for this consolidation and then maybe trading out of the consolidation. Small caps are trying to find their footing. Large financials are still trying to figure out if the dust is settling yet. Home builders, not yet. KKR is a regional bank, better than the national, but not by much. Coke. Coke is another one. Okay. Yeah. Coke on the table. I like Colgate a little better, but I think you could go either way. You can see there's a lot of similarities in those, being both staples. MasterCard. MasterCard is okay. I don't know. I mean, MasterCard and AXP are pretty strong out of credit, but let's just keep watching. McDonald's. Okay, it caught a little bit, but now it's already coming back down. I don't know. We'll watch that and see. Meta trying to hold around the 50. I'm having a hard time with Meta. I don't know if I'm able to draw. I'm not. I kind of feel like we're in a consolidation, and I would rather wait for it to go up, down, higher, low. At this point, a little more conservative on that. Here's another staple. And again, looking strong. I would say Colgate first position, Coke in second position for me. And I'm looking for signals on both of those this week. Morgan, no. Microsoft, maybe. Maybe it's trying. Actually, I don't know. I think at this point, same thing. I would rather it now break. If it can get up into like 423 to 425, then pull back and make a higher low, I'd feel better about that. And I'm going to be patient for it, right? We know September's a notoriously choppy month. So, cyclically speaking, we do have some headwinds in that regard. So, yeah, let's just anything that like we're not trying to find trades. Real quickly, let's take a peek. Actually, let me get through this and we'll go back to a couple other things. So here's Micron. I mean, it's at the lows, but are you trying to trade off the lows? You know, there's potential. NDAQ, potentially trading this. So you've got ICE and NDAQ as our exchanges. Both look pretty strong. Netflix holding above the 50. NVIDIA. I would say NVIDIA, you might even have a Heiken Ashi. If this holds, you could turn this into a continuation trade, right? Look back. This is where we are right here. So if we got to run up, you could be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. If it makes 4, 5, 6 days in a row and gets back up, you'll have a pretty good trade. You could put a stop underneath, tighten it, tighten it, tighten it. I'm thinking about this. If this holds up, NVIDIA's a leader. Apple's a leader. Look at what's happening in technology. You've got a couple of big ones trying to make their way into moving the rest of the group. PGR, another insurance. That's why I said I think technology has some prospects. And this looks fine still. PLTR pulling back a little bit. You might have locked some gain in. You might lock more in and decide I want to see if it pulls back and take the next one. How you manage it, that makes a difference. QQQ. Yeah. You can see that this tried to give a signal and then it failed. It's still above the 50, so we'll give it some grace. Same thing with RTX. Here's the SPY. Anything changing on our posture so far this week? No. Up day. Right now, slightly down day. Just kind of sideways. Let's look at our opening range. So came pretty hard the first 5, slowing, and now we're finding the bottom of the range. So now we'll see if the buyers come in. We'll see if the sellers break the bottom of this. If they break the bottom of this, we could be down here near 543. we could test yesterday's lows. So I would be surprised. I'm not something that I think is, the market doesn't seem to have that level of bearishness, but certainly we could see it. We could see it happen. TSM. TSM's trying to bounce. Oh, now here's the deal. Look at UMP getting smashed like the others. Oh, if you're in it, it's getting hurt. We'll see what happens. If you didn't pull it, you're waiting for the first 5, like we said. You waited for the sellers. That's why we sometimes will wait and see what happens on the open. So, something to learn. For me, any alert, my preference is that you wait for at least the opening range. Always. That's the preference. Not everybody has that opportunity. I recognize that. That's what makes alerts a difficult prospect sometimes, right? Is we might look at this overnight and be like, this looks great as long as what? Now, if it opens and we see sellers, we might wait for those sellers to finish. If we get in the trade, we're going to have to give it some, right? See what happens. So there we go. USB. Again, they're more of the regional bank size than, I know it's U.S. Bancorp, but they're actually considered more of the smaller size than the behemoths. Still looks viable. UUP, the dollar's still participating in a way that's useful, in a way that is helpful to the market. There's no pressure coming from that. Here's the VIX. Okay, so the VIX, there's no fear. I mean, it's a little bit, but here's the deal. If the VIX turns up, that is a hedge signal. Today, it would have to get above 20.5. Tomorrow, it would only have to close above today's high. When we see that happen, yeah, we should be a little bit more concerned by that. Right? A little bit more concerned by that. So, again, we're in an interesting place because we've got strength and signals showing up in multiple areas, but we also have an elevated VIX. So this thing is precarious. It could go either way. It's September. We could head back and test the most recent lows where, I mean, that would be quite a lot to go back down to that 10% level. I wouldn't expect that. But it's September and October. We have interesting things happen in those periods of time. Walmart, a little bit of a pause. Let's take a quick peek at the sectors, and then we'll look at, yes, Miguel. Yes, Miguel. XLB, materials down a little bit today. Communication services, holding up. Energy, well down. Look at energy coming down. Financials are down, but overall the group is holding up. Same with industrials. Nothing's broken the 50. Everything is still sort of in a stable place. Look at technology. It's holding up. We look at staples. They're down today, but overall there's still plenty of signals in that group. Utilities, sideways, healthcare, and consumer discretionary. Consumer discretionary really is where one is like, yeah, that needs to participate. It's weird and a little interesting that we're not seeing consumer discretionary showing more momentum. I would say even concerning. Let's take a look at AMSC. AMSC. Maybe. American Superconductor. Yeah. It had the same kind of a pattern. It was at support. It was sideways at support after coming down. So at least the selling pressure had paused. And you can see it did get a bounce. And so look, if you traded that bounce, you caught a piece yesterday, and today it's already kind of slowing down a little bit. However, for me, it broke this high. So if nothing else, if it starts to, slow down here, which it seems like it is, and then dips but doesn't dip all the way back, meaning it dips to a higher low, let's say it drops to 20 and then starts to turn, then I'd be like, okay, well, look back here. There's a up to down to 20, then it went up to this level, back to here, then up to here. So I'd think, I could catch it from 20 to 27 and a half, back down to, this area, and then maybe a bounce up to 28 and a half, even up north 32. So yeah, I think there's good prospects here. It seems to be doing better than Micron, or maybe Intel. I'm not sure about. Who else do we have? Another A. Who am I missing from the A's? I know I'm missing one. Someone help me. AMD, Miguel. Thank you. I kept thinking AMTD. I'm like, it's not Ameritrade. Ameritrade doesn't even exist anymore. AMD. I don't know why I kept wanting to put that damn T in there. Oh, yeah, that looks okay, too. But you can see the difference. American Semiconductor is busting its old high. This one's just like floundering a little bit. Oh, yeah, my brain freezes all the time, Press. I just consider that the new norm. Okay. Trading plan before we're done. Trading plan. This is the other one. I wanted the routines. Right? What do I need before market open? When? For how long? So, where is the routine relative to the market? At what time will you conduct it? How long will it take? Then you need your checklist of, what am I going to do? I'm going to check the futures. I'm going to check the news. I'm going to check the economic calendar. I'm going to look at all my trades. I'm going to check their stops and their where they are relative to their stops. And where they're set to open. All right, those are the list of things that we're just like, hey, we're just checking the boxes. That's it. It's not like we're running around trying to, do a bunch. It's just acknowledgement and awareness. Then you can see during market hour, I have at 10 a.m., 10:30 my time-ish. That's a couple hours from now. 15 to 20 minutes, I check in on things. I don't just sit here and stare at it. That's a good way to give yourself tick fever. Right? It's going up. It's going down. It's going up. If you're day trading, great. Do some day trading. But day trade your day trades and leave your swing trades out of the equation during that time. You can't change horses midstream. What else? Same thing. That's always, if you look at my during market hours routines, they both start with that. First, evaluate open trades. Where do you have skin in the game? That's where you go first. Is it everything okay? Is anything going nuts? What do you need to do with it? Right? Yeah. Second thing. Opportunities. This is trading time. So you can see these are like check the box lists. This is check the box lists. During market is trading time. You have two priorities. Manage the trades you're in, find new trades. That's it. Manage the trades you're in, move stops, take profits, take losses. Get new trades. Manage your watch list, look for opportunities, find setups, make sure that you're ready to take them when they trigger. So not a huge checklist during the market hours, but you might You might define it into sub-steps, into how you do things. I mean, look, be formal. And then habituate these over and over and over again. Make it an excellent routine and then make it a habit. That's the purpose of that. Then we have our weekly routines. Market posture, searching, keep your watch lists fresh, watch list maintenance. Yeah, it's that important. Do it twice. Update your trading log if it hasn't already been. Create your short list of trade possibilities. Analyze next week to get familiar with what's coming out. Yeah, that's what we're doing in there, right? Those are the types of things. I think I even have the trading plan sample that I posted has even more than this. Great ideas for you to use. Steal them at you as you will. My routines are your routines, and if you have any great ones, let me know. Right? If you have developed a great market dance that you do that tends to work well, I'm not above superstition at all. I've done many market dances in my time. Monthly, quarterly, annual routines. I mean, it's up to you. Now you start getting into things like analytical processing, right? Where you look at your numbers, your goals, trading plan review time, tax preparation. There's plenty of things that we can do in those times. So yeah, that's it. That's this week. It's not a lot, but it's an important section, So, I would definitely say, to put the time in there. Let's go back before we finish. Talk about our opening range. Oh yeah, we're the market's not loving it. Which is interesting because it seems like we got all that we were looking for. Am I wrong? 2.2. Wait a second. Is 3.2 too high? On a core basis, 0.2 and yeah, I still haven't finished the update. If you're wondering. Yeah. Let's take a quick peek in here. I better finish that update. That's what it is. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Now everyone thinks it's definitely just going to be the 25. This changed very dramatically here. A day ago it was 34%. Now everyone agrees. Right? We're in alignment. Quarter basis point next week. Don't fight the Fed. That's my closing message. I agree, press. We've been there the whole time. Quarter point the whole time. We're steady. We know how much this thing reflects hope at times. But it's still September. Today's still a little bit wobbly. Okay, let's get through it. I would expect that you don't have a lot of trades on. In fact, not very many at all. So it should be fairly manageable to get through this. Keep an eye on that hedge signal. Yeah? Keep an eye on that hedge signal. That's what I'll leave you with. This afternoon, Glenn will be here for the last hour of the day, so he'll help you process things if you want to come back and just chat about it in the Market Watch meetups. Tomorrow night, more Foundations working sessions with Glenn and I. All right. Look, it's a little bit of a ugly first half hour, but we'll be fine. I'm still looking for opportunities to be ready if this thing settles as expected. Have a great rest of your morning and day. I'll see you tomorrow. As always, happy trading.